The leadership is emerging in Jacksonville Jaguars training camp, and Jourdan Lewis has a lot to do with that. I'll tell you why here on Locked On Jaguars.
You are Locked On Jaguars, your daily Jacksonville Jaguars podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It is your team every day here on Locked On Jaguars. We thank you for making us your first listen. I am Tony Wiggins, the host of the Locked On Jaguars podcast, where you can find everywhere you get your podcast. Just make sure you tap in to that location so you do not miss an episode of the Locked On Jaguars podcast. Glad to have you here with us every single day. If you're an everydayer, if you're a new person, come on, man. Come on back and be an everydayer just like everyone else. That's right. This is what we're going to run down today. We're going to talk about leadership. We're going to end up the show talking about having measured expectations and why you have to do that, because it's for your own sanity. Right smack in the middle of the show, I'll tell you why it's a different feeling in the building. And at the top of the show, we're going to talk about leaders emerging. And Jourdan Lewis is one of those people, and that's where we're going to park it right here. And I know it's pretty cliche to talk about leadership. It's almost like the word culture, right? You get so sick and tired of hearing it and you keep trying to describe it, but it's not really something that you should be able to describe or point out. It's really something that happens naturally and organically, and then you point it out. You can't really assign leaders. They just kind of assign themselves, and it's who the rest of the players on the team follows. And there's usually a general hierarchy that happens. Jourdan Lewis came over from the Dallas Cowboys after years of playing with Dallas, and has been a great leader for this team. I know last year at this point they asked Doug Pederson if he took some guys to get into a bar fight, which one would you want to take with you? And he said Darnell Savage. And maybe it's because of his name, but we didn't really see Darnell be a Savage last year. Hopefully this new scheme will help him be that. But Jourdan Lewis has stepped in, and he is coaching people at practice. He's doing extra work. He's explaining to everyone what they need to be doing. This is really, really a good fit for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm telling you, the Cowboys, they really valued him a lot. It's just that Dallas knew they couldn't pay him because they got so many other people under contract, and then so many other people that still need to get paid. Michael Parsons needs to get paid. So at some point when you're Dallas, you got to let people go. And this is the one thing I always say about Dallas. They do a terrible job of advancing into the playoffs and team building, but they do a really, really good job of selecting individual talent. You've seen the pass rushers get away, and now you saw Jourdan Lewis get away. And Jourdan Lewis is a very, very valuable person here for the Jaguars. One of the things that he does is he provides the versatility that you need with Travis Hunter having the role that he has. He also plays through the whistle, and he always has the correct body language. He plays through the whistle. He has very, very late hands when it comes to coverage. Feet are always moving. It looks like he's beat, and then all of a sudden, here he comes, making a play on the ball, knocking the ball out of somebody's hand at the very last minute. Those are the things that get teams off the field on third down and get the ball back to the offense, and that's exactly what we want. Now you got leadership at all three levels, not the fake leadership, the real leadership, because I believe in Jourdan Lewis on the back end. I definitely believe in the Foye Oluokun in the middle of that team. And then you got Travon and Josh and Eric Armstead up front. So now you have leadership at all three levels, right? And everyone else can just go relax and play. We'll talk about the offense and their leadership in just a second, but I really wanted to focus on Jourdan Lewis because if you haven't had a chance to go out to practice in training camp and watch him, he's like a coach on the field. He's always in a position. He knows exactly where he's supposed to be. And he personifies professionalism. And that's the part of this that I really, really love. It's the body language. It's the way he carries himself. Look, this dude looks like a guy that decided a long time ago, I got 12 years. I got 12 years to be the absolute best pro that I can. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I think the Jaguars are very, very fortunate to have gotten Jourdan Lewis. He wasn't even on my radar. I had guys like Nate Hobbs on my radar who signed a big contract with Green Bay. Because I didn't think Jourdan Lewis was going to be able to get away from Dallas. So I thought the Cowboys would do whatever it took to keep him, but glad to have him here. with Jacksonville to blend in with the rest of those leaders and take that role in the secondary. You wonder, how can a new guy come in here and be a leader? Well, because there's new coaches. Everything is new to everybody down there, right? And these coaches and this GM went out and cherry picked him and handpicked him to come in here for a reason. When you get new coaches and you get a new GM, all the other stuff kind of goes out the window, and you have to re-earn the trust of your teammates. And I see him on the practice field on the days that I was able to go out. I have seen him coaching, getting guys in line. He is a very, very good influence, a big influence also on the young players like Jourdan Jones. You're showing them how to conduct themselves, not only in practice, but in preparation, more than likely, in what kind of food they consume. This is how you turn this thing around. Offensively, Brian Thomas Jr. has stepped up to be more of a leader. I've even seen Brenton Strange being more of a leader. Trevor is going to be Trevor. He's the quarterback. He's always instructing and always giving and receiving constructive criticism. The running backs are pepping each other up. The offensive lineman, Anton Harrison has responded to some early push from this coaching staff and has decided that he's going to show up now. So you see him running back with the ones and looking just like a totally, totally different player. So that's the effective leadership on a football team. The young guys really, really start to emulate certain people, and you can see it in the secondary when you pay attention to them. You can hear how they talk, all the way to Antonio Johnson and everyone else. Leadership. Now, Eric Murray is a little quiet. And yesterday, I had Eric Murray on my top 53, and I just skipped his name. I didn't mention it. And at the end of me actually putting people in, what I did was just say, okay, yeah, I'll throw him in too, because I realized I only had 52. Well, that's because I hadn't mentioned Eric Murray. Eric Murray is going to start at safety, at free safety. And he's a very similar player in terms of size and with how he moves around, with how quick his feet are, and how he's always poking and trying to get the ball loose. So two very, very good additions in the secondary that are really, really good leaders. On the offensive line, it's all about Pat McCary. I think Pat McCary, I know my man Jackson Field yesterday said that Pat McCary might get his job taken by Wyatt Milam. No, that's not going to happen. Pat McCary and James Hainsey have really been very, very vocal leaders, showing everyone what they need to be doing. McCary is actually the one guy on this offensive line that can play every single position. So he has too much value. His contract showed that he had a lot of value. I do believe they have really, really good leadership. It's a different feeling in the building, and the part of the reason why everything feels differently is because these guys, the coaching staff and the GM, they come from winning. You know, they come from teams that have been very, very successful, and now they're implementing a lot of those things here in Jacksonville. And I told y'all, I warned y'all a long time ago, these dudes, they might look nice like Mr. Rogers, but they are not soft whatsoever. I'll tell you how their leadership has a different feeling going on in the building, but it still is all about wins and losses. We'll talk about that more here today in just a second on Locked On Jaguars. This episode is presented by Yahoo Fantasy. Fantasy football is back. Fire up the chat, get your draft board ready, and buckle up for a season filled with breakouts, busts, and all the overreactions we live for. It's all going down on Yahoo Fantasy. This year, me and my homeboys in the Showdown and the Playmakers League are playing on Yahoo Fantasy, and you should too, whether you're a first-timer or a veteran making your millionth league. All right, here's what you need to do, man, if you want to get on with it, what you should. To celebrate 28 years of fantasy greatness, Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 new features, big new features over 28 days, giving you more ways to play, more ways to draft, and more ways to win. It all begins August 4th. Stay tuned and get started by creating or joining a Yahoo Fantasy Football League at yahoofantasy.com/lockedonnfl. That's yahoofantasy.com/lockedonnfl. And let's make this season the best one yet. Moving and grooving here on Locked On Jaguars, where it is your team every day. We thank you for making us your first listener. I noticed there's an uptick in leadership on this team from certain individuals. Jordan Lewis was one that I mentioned at the top of the show. But all in all, there's just a different feeling. Even when you talk to the PR staff, the camera crew, it's a little more measured than it was when we've had excitement in the past. And I think that's a plus. And I'll also explain that to you in segment 3. But right now, the feeling inside of the building is a little bit different. EVP Tony Baselli, even I looked at him and said, hey, it doesn't feel the same. He says it feels different, doesn't it? And it does. It really, really does. And I like the fact that, once again, you're going to hear me talk about a clean slate. The fact that it was such a clean slate makes this possible. Because before, every time they got, they made moves and changes, there was still remnants of the past that were left. That's not the case here. It's not the case at all. And by the way, I haven't seen Shad Khan yet either. I usually see him in training camp. I haven't seen him. The days that I was there, he wasn't there. So maybe he's been there, but I hadn't seen him on the 3 days that I went. But that also might seem like something that is a bit of confidence or a boost of confidence to the staff that's out there now. These guys are in charge. They might look young, but they absolutely know exactly what they're doing and how they're supposed to do it. James Gladstone stands back. Sometimes he's on the field, but he's distant, or he's up top looking down, like an eye in the sky. And the whole feeling about all of this is just a little bit different. It always feels different every single year to a certain extent. And because there's always hope and optimism, right? But the thing is I want to go out on a limb and I'm going to tell y'all, this is real. This is okay. It's almost like somebody saying, well, I lied to you yesterday, but I'm telling you the truth today. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm doing here is telling you, I know as much as it has felt redundant in the past to sit there and continue to say, oh, they're going to get better. It's going to happen. Sooner or later, they'll improve. Maybe not this year. Maybe they got a little bit better. We had too many injuries. Our offensive line was banged up. No, I'm not trying to hear all of those excuses this year. I really, really do want to let y'all know that this feels a lot different. And I know my man Sam is out there going, here we go. I can't wait till the games start getting played because now they're going to hype this thing up and blow it out of proportion. No, there's just this feeling I can't describe that I've come on this show and I told y'all year after year after year that something was missing. And I always pointed to they need more people to have eyes on the checks and balances of this team. They need more people in the front office. They need a bigger staff. The Jaguars admitted, and Shad Khan, I think he even used these words before, that they ran a thin organization. I think the word that he used was thin. That means they have a lot of people all over the place. That's not the case now. They got coaches amongst coaches on top of coaches with all levels of experience. Coach Babbage has been around football for 40 years, right? Ron Miles has been around football forever. Edgar Bennett has been playing and coaching for 30 years. We graduated high school together in 1987. He went off to Florida State and had a great career in Green Bay and then immediately started coaching. So they have people that have done this a lot, even though Liam Cohen is a first-time coach and James Gladstone is the first-time GM. Tony Baselli is the first-time executive vice president. So you would sit and wonder and think, who are the grown people in the room? No, trust me, they got enough grown people in that room. They got years and years and years of experience. They have people in the back office on staff that are super, super, super smart. One of the main things I notice is they know how to treat people. And that's big. That's huge. Folks made a big deal out of the fact that the Jaguars players said that the families were treated poorly. And then they started taking that and saying, that's the last thing y'all need to be worried about. Y'all need to be worried about winning. Well, if they win and the family still treated poorly, the fact is their family still treated poorly, right? All of those things have been repaired. I have seen a concerted effort not only to make sure that those people are taken care of, but the media, they do a really, really good job accommodating the media. And while that's not important to fans, it's not as important to fans as it is people who are members of the media like myself. It does send a message that nothing is getting left off the docket. Nothing is getting left behind, that all T's are crossed and all I's are dotted top to bottom. And then when people treat you accordingly, right, They don't have anything to hide. This is this old saying, if you walk past the house with a fence, people will sit there and try to climb the fence and look over it. But if you have no fence, they'll just walk by and admire the house and keep going. There's no need to dig for anything. Well, the Jaguars' house right now is very, very transparent. It's very transparent. And that means they're willing to be vulnerable. They're willing to be vulnerable because they have nothing to hide. And there's nothing anybody could do or say that could knock them off their square. They are very intentional and very deliberate with how they're going about their business. And that's why they're looking for players who have that same mentality. That's where Jourdan Lewis comes in. That's where it appears they love Travon Walker. I've heard them talk and rave about Brenton Strange. Guys, Josh Allen, Tyson Campbell, all of these dudes that come to work every day and want to be what I call football playing Jessies and are going to be professional. Those are the guys that they're going to put out front. You got to be able to play. We know that. But you also need to be able to conduct yourself in a certain way that allows you to be at your very, very, very best when it comes to game time on Sundays. And I think those are practices that are going on right now. It just seems like a totally, totally different feeling, man, in that building. It's almost like it's indescribable. I guess it's, I could say the building looks like and feels like it's intangibly rich. There you go. There you go. I put that out there. But it does. It feels like the intent, where they want to go as a football team, the feeling in that building is totally different. And it's something that I wasn't in the building when Mark Brunell and those guys played, right? I was doing a little radio back then, but I wasn't around the team as much. I was around some players off duty, but I wasn't really in the building, in the facility back when Tom Coughlin was the head coach. But I guarantee you this sort of feels like that. They feel like they're a good football team. They ratcheted up the physicality yesterday. It just seems like everybody's just on the same page from top to bottom. And I think it's going to bode well for them. What if it's worth 1 or 2 games? What if it's worth the difference between being 8-9 or 9-8? What if it's 10-7 or I got to add real quick. What if it's 10-7 or 12-5 or 11-6? There you go. Duval County school system. Thank you very much. My mind wasn't going fast enough, but I finally did get that out. You still have to be measured in terms of your expectations. I think Jaguar fans, to me, are not as outwardly as enthusiastic as they have been in the past. They actually have more reasons to be that way now, but in the past, they were that way. I noticed there's a little bit of pipe down a little bit and let's hold on. And I don't have a problem with it. And I'll tell you why I don't have a problem with it in just a second here on Locked On Jaguars. All right, today's episode is also sponsored by 5-Hour Energy. It's time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot, whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends. This is a hole-in-one for your energy drink. I'm going to tell you right now, man, you got to be honest. Some days on the course or off it, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp. You absolutely do. I always need an extra energy to stay sharp. I got insomnia. I don't sleep real well, and I got to get up and do these podcasts. So I need something to wake me up, and 5-Hour Energy is the thing. All right, here you go. Golf is all about having times with good people, good times with good people, good flavors, of course. The grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the Bev cart. If you're going to 5-Hour, if you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use my promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. That's Locked On Golf to receive 20% off your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on any subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get that energy boost you need to power through. Order transfusion flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. All right, moving and grooving here on Locked On Jaguars. Measured expectations. The fans have already done that. They've already done it. I've seen enthusiasm be way higher than this when expectations were lower because people were just happy that the season started. So why am I happy, or why am I understanding the fact that people aren't being outwardly demonstrative and their enthusiasm isn't, pouring out of their ears? They got Travis Hunter, one of the most dynamic college football players you've ever seen. And Brian Thomas Jr. had a good year last year. And they finally got a new GM and a new coach. And they got some new pieces on defense. And Trevon and Josh are slimmed down and look good. And the team is absolutely healthy everywhere. How come people aren't more excited about the fact that they added 6 offensive linemen to the competition on this team? I think they are happy. But I think they're being measured for a reason. One of them is they've been happy before and saw what happened. They got slapped in the face in 2018 when they thought we were going to go back to the championship game and end up making the Super Bowl. And then Trevor's second year, they got happy again in year 3. The team went 9-8 but didn't make the playoffs. All of those things, right? I don't think this is a Stockholm Syndrome situation. I believe they know that something special is going on. They just don't know how special it's going to be. And instead of blowing wolf tickets, the fans are sitting around and they're just waiting for the games to start. It's like a quiet confidence going on, right? They're confident, but they need to see it first. It's a little bit more measured. The fans are actually acting like they're used to the Jaguars winning and expect them to at least, I wouldn't say win big, but to be a contender at the end of the year. That is the expectation. And it blows my mind in a good way that the Jaguars fan base has been able to compartmentalize all of this new stuff the way that they have and get ready for this season without going over the top with enthusiasm. I think they went over the top with enthusiasm before because they realized they really didn't know it and they were hoping for it, right? And feeling like, hey, man, we might as well get all of this out of our system right now because when the season starts, we're going to be disappointed. Not no more. It's not happening. Everyone's measured. Everyone's cautiously optimistic and happy that this thing is going to get right and this thing is going to get fixed. And the Jaguars will look super competent and confident on the field. I just think it's been a long time coming and it's finally here. And I believe people really, really have that attitude like this is really about to happen. And we know it's about to happen. I think that's why everyone is sort of measured in because I think they believe something good is going to happen, but they don't know exactly how good it's going to be. It could actually shock you. And the Jaguars could actually do something that they've done in the past. The 3 times they've gone to the AFC Championship, no one expected them to do it. They were an expansion team, and then they fell off, and then they came right back 2 years later. And then back in 2017, at one point, that team was under 500. And then they just got hot and stormed through everything. And lo and behold, even the year when Trevor was the quarterback, they were 2-7 and ended up 9-8 and made the playoffs and won a playoff game. So it's okay when you feel the way you feel, the euphoria of thinking that something is going to happen, but you don't know how far this team can go. And I'm telling you right now, they could catch a whole bunch of people by surprise this year because nobody knows what Liam Cohen is going to do. Nobody knows how they're going to use Travis Hunter. Nobody knows how many big plays will Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. make together, whether Travis makes them on offense or defense. They don't know if these running backs are going to be able to hit home run threats now because they ain't getting hit as soon as they get the ball like they have in the past. And here's the other one. They don't know the impact that Liam Cohen and Coach Grant Udinski are going to have on Trevor Lawrence. Will they put so much structure around him that beautiful talent that you see sometimes is harnessed to the point where it shows up every single time it needs to? in these big games, where he doesn't have to go out and be Superman, where he doesn't have to go out and try to do everything by himself. It's a new day. It is an absolute new day here in Jacksonville. And I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to tell y'all, man, I think good things are going to happen to this team. The Jaguars will challenge Houston to win this division, the AFC South. I think if they win the AFC South, of course, they're going to the playoffs. But even if they don't, I believe the Jaguars, there will be two teams from the AFC South. One will be Houston and one will be Jacksonville. Whether or not they go in as the team that won the division, I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. But I'm telling you, man, I've been around football a long time, and I know what it looks like. And sometimes you can't describe what needs to happen. But when you see it, you can always point and go, there it is right there. That's it. And I'm telling you, it feels like they're heading in that direction. They've gotten a lot more physical, a whole lot more physical. Monteric Brown's going to miss most of the preseason. Liam Cohen says he'll be ready for the regular season. So that means he's probably going to make the team, right? Unless they put him on the PUP list. But even then, that means they got plans for Monteric Brown. Monteric Brown is not going to lose his job because of injury. All right? So I had to drop that in there for you real quick. Looking forward to seeing what they do the rest of the week as we get closer and closer to the first preseason game. But I tell you what, man, y'all can be optimistic that things are going to get better because I said it first here on Locked On Jaguars. Got something else for you. Thank you for making Locked On Jaguars your first listen today. For your second listen, check out Locked On Bets. Betting experts Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers have daily NFL locks and can't miss football futures. Find Locked On Bets on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, man, y'all take care. We'll see you tomorrow. If there's anything that breaks out that we need to talk about, I'll do something of an emergency pod, but I don't hope anything like that breaks out and causes me to have to come back and do it. And we can just come back tomorrow like we do every single day because it's your team every day and talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll see you next time.